All right, let's kick off another deep dive. Today, we're going to be exploring a blog post all about ferns,
Cool.
specifically the Cretan Brake fern and this whole idea of spore propagation. It sounds like you're really keen on getting a fern garden up and running. So first things first, ferns. They're a little bit different, right?
Yeah, they're a whole different ball game. Unlike your typical flowering plants, ferns don't use seeds.
Right, spores.
Spores, exactly. And have you ever stopped to think about what that actually means for the plant? It's pretty wild.
It's a big difference, right? From a seed to a spore.
Yeah, it's a completely different evolutionary strategy. Think of it this way. Seeds are like little self-contained packages, right?
Yeah.
They've got their own food supply all ready to go.
Like a little lunchbox?
Exactly. But spores, they're more like tiny adventurers, setting off into the unknown. They're way simpler structures, and they need just the right conditions to even have a chance at growing.
So it's like a way riskier strategy.
Def
So instead of these seeds nestled in a fruit or a pod, ferns have these spores. How are they actually spread around?
Well, ferns have these ingenious little capsules called sporangia.
Sporangia.
Yeah, try saying that 3 times fast.
Sporangia.
All right. Anyway, you usually find them in clusters called sori, usually on the underside of the fronds.
Okay.
And when the spores inside are mature, these sporangia just burst open. It's like, bam, see ya later. It flings the spores out, hoping they land in a nice, moist spot to start growing.
So it's like a little explosion?
It kind of is a microscopic fireworks display happening all the time.
So I'm imagining walking through a forest, the sun's filtering through the leaves, and these tiny invisible spores are just exploding all around me.
Exactly. It's a pretty awesome visual, right? And this strategy has worked out pretty well for ferns, considering they've been around since, well, way before the dinosaurs. And this blog post you shared seems to be about trying to recreate this process manually with the Cretan brake fern.
Yeah, manually harvest.
Fair.
It sounds pretty ambitious, but I'm totally intrigued. Can we talk a little bit more about this Cretan brake fern? What's so special about it? The blog mentions something about the fronds being unique.
Right. So the Cretan brake fern, Pteris cretica, if you want to get fancy, is known for having these shorter fronds compared to other ferns.
Okay.
And the fronds themselves have a pretty distinct look. Imagine a feather, but it's delicately divided into all these leaflets. That's what we call a pinnate structure.
Innate.
Yep. You'll see it in a lot of ferns, gives them that classic feathery look.
And I noticed the blog mentioned something about variegated leaflets. What does that even mean?
Ah, good catch. That's another really cool feature of the Cretan brake. It basically means that the leaflets have different colors. Usually you'll see a lighter green midrib against a darker green background. It's really beautiful.
Like an artist came in and painted each leaf.
Yeah. And interestingly, the blogger mentioned moving their Cretan brake from a back balcony to the front yard. Maybe there's something about the front yard that's better suited.
I was thinking maybe the front yard gets more dappled sunlight, like you'd find on a forest floor. Do you think the variegation could be a clue as to why the front yard might be working better?
That's a great observation. Variegation in plants can sometimes be linked to light conditions. It's possible the Cretan brake's color pattern helps it do well in a spot that has that perfect amount of filtered light, just like a forest floor.
So a fern's appearance could actually tell us where it would be happiest in a garden.
Exactly. It's like each feature of the plant is a clue. It's like solving a puzzle, and it gives you a deeper understanding of what the plant needs.
I love that. Now I gotta know, how does this whole spore propagation thing actually work? If I was standing in my yard looking at this Cretan brake fern, where do I even start?
Well, you'd want to find the sori, those little clusters of sporangia we talked about earlier.
Oh, right.
They're usually on the underside of the fronds, and they can look like little dots, lines, even fuzzy patches, depending on the type of fern. It's inside those sori that the sporangia are hiding, waiting to release their precious cargo.
So it's not as simple as just grabbing a frond and shaking it over a pot.
Nope, not quite that simple.
There's a specific time to do it.
Exactly. Just like you wouldn't pick an unripe fruit, you have to wait until those sories are mature and the spores are ready to go.
So how do you know when it's go time?
Well, keep an eye out for a color change, usually to a darker brown or even black.
Okay.
That's nature's way of telling you the spores are ready for their big debut.
This is so cool. So what happens next? How do you actually collect these tiny spores without them flying all over?
Oh, that's where things get a little delicate. Yeah, it's a bit like botanical surgery. You gotta be careful.
I'm intrigued. Tell me more.
There are actually a couple of ways to do it. Some people, some gardeners, like to gently scrape the sori off the fronds with something like a knife, onto a piece of paper.
Okay.
Others, they prefer a more, I guess you could say, hands-off approach. Yeah, they basically just cut a section of the frond where the sories are mature and pop it into a paper bag. Let the spores just fall out naturally over time.
Oh, clever. So once you've got those precious spores, it's time to actually start growing them,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
I can practically see these tiny little fern forests springing up.
Well, not so fast. Slow down there, eager gardener. It's not quite as easy as just sprinkling them wherever you want.
Oh, no.
No, ferns are a bit picky. Remember we were talking about those perfect conditions. You got to create the right environment, make them feel at home.
So more like a tiny fern nursery.
Exactly. Think of it like recreating that damp forest floor.
So what would that look like?
Well, you'll need a seedling tray, and you got to fill it with something sterile, a nice growing medium, something that'll hold some moisture but won't get waterlogged. A mix of peat moss and vermiculite usually does the trick.
Okay, seedling tray. Check. Sterile growing medium. Check. Spores. Ready to go. What's next?
Now for the main event. You're
Yeah.
going to sprinkle those spores over the surface of your growing medium super gently, and don't bury them. Fern spores actually need light to germinate. They're like little sunbathers.
Little fern sunbathers.
Exactly. Then you want to cover the whole tray. You can use a clear plastic lid or some wrap. Basically make a little humid greenhouse for your baby ferns.
I bet now the waiting game really begins. No instant ferns, huh?
Nope. Patience is key with ferns. It takes a lot longer than growing from seeds. It can be weeks, even months before those tiny spores turn into anything that looks like a fern.
While we're waiting, maybe we can talk about ferns on a larger scale. They've always fascinated me. They were around long before flowering plants even existed, right?
Yeah, they're ancient. Real survivors. They've seen it all. Ice ages, dinosaurs, the whole lot. They've adapted to all kinds of habitats, from forests to rocky cliffs. It's pretty remarkable.
And they play a really important role in those ecosystems too, don't they?
Absolutely. Providing food and shelter for all sorts of creatures, they're a key part of the biodiversity of their habitats.
They're like the unsung heroes of the plant world.
I love that. And of course, we can't forget how beautiful they are. They add a real touch of elegance and texture to gardens.
It's true, and there's so much variety. Delicate, lacy fronds, bold architectural shapes. There's a fern out there for every taste. So we've delved into the intricate world of fern reproduction, learned about the Cretan Brake fern, and this amazing process of spore propagation. It's pretty mind-blowing that all this is happening all around us, right, in our gardens and forests. What's the one thing you'd like our listener to take away from this deep dive?
It really does make you think, doesn't it? Like, how can something so small, so seemingly fragile, contain the blueprint for such incredible plants?
It's like a tiny little time capsule of resilience.
Exactly. It really highlights the power of evolution, all the incredible diversity in life on Earth, and how even the most unassuming organisms can have these incredible secrets.
And those secrets, we can actually use them, right? Like in our gardens.
Yeah.
If we understand how ferns work, how they reproduce and adapt, we can create the perfect environment for them to thrive.
Absolutely. It all comes down to understanding their needs, what makes them tick. Then you can choose the perfect ferns for your garden and give them exactly what they need to flourish.
So to wrap up our fern frenzy, I think we've learned a lot. We've delved into this whole world of spore reproduction, which is seriously fascinating. We explored the Cretan Brake fern with its unique fronds and that striking variegation.
And we even got into the nitty-gritty of spore propagation, a real testament to the patience and adaptability of these amazing plants.
It's been quite a journey. As you continue exploring the world of plants, I really encourage you to take a moment to appreciate the ferns around you. Observe them in their natural habitat. You'll see them with a whole new perspective.
Think about their long history. They've been around for millions of years. Their unique way of reproducing has allowed them to survive and thrive through it all. Maybe you'll even be inspired to try a little spore propagation yourself. Create your own little fern haven.
It's a great reminder that there's always something new to discover, something amazing hiding just beneath the surface. Until next time, happy fern watching.